You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Roll with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. And it's a great day to be a Buckeye. If you watched college football yesterday, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There were some, I'll just put it to you like this. The preseason number 1 and number 2 teams lost. One of them, Penn State, lost to a winless UCLA team with an interim everything. So we see how college football is. We see how crazy it's getting. So I just wanted to remind people how good it is to be a Buckeye. But it's great to see everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys for joining the show. Hit that like button, please. Subscribe button. Super chats are open. And I apologize. I put a live show up to watch the game live, a live watch party, and was unable to do it literally right before I planned on doing it, which was out of the blue, by the way. My AC went out in my house. And if you live in Florida, you know what that means. That's an emergency. You got to get that fixed or it's going to be hot. But Steely, see you in there. John, Winstars, Joyce, Lucia, Ohio State 614. Appreciate all y'all for being in there, man. We got some stuff to dive into today. We got some surprise red shirts, right? We got some red shirts going on for these Buckeyes, and kind of a surprise. I didn't really expect this, but I like it. I like the plan for the future for these players. So we'll dive into that a little bit. Got some recruiting updates from the game. Some good ones, some ones that not so good. And then we're going to go over the dominant performance by the Buckeyes. Brutus smashing the Gophers. We love to see it. And I got an exciting announcement. I need everybody to pay attention because I got a new member of my family sitting on my lap right here, a new Buckeye. She has joined the Buckeye family. I picked her up Friday, I picked her up from the airport. Been looking for something like this for a while. So everybody say hello to Tinker. She's a little Karen Terrier, and this is my new baby girl. Okay, so I'm single now, so I decided to go out and get me a little puppy, and I absolutely love her to death. She's adorable. She's just a little sweetheart. See? But she's not potty trained yet. So she's pretty tiny. She's not going to get much bigger. She's pretty attached to me. So she'll probably just chill on my lap. But if she doesn't, I'll end up putting her down. But anyway, guys, great to be a Buckeye. What'd you guys think about college football this weekend, man? I was watching that Penn State game thinking, well, dude, we are so blessed to have Ryan Day, because for James Franklin to bring your team out, for Jim Knowles to give up, was it 42 points? I was like, bruh, what is going on around here? And then Texas at Florida. Billy Napier just doesn't want to go away. He keeps pulling stuff like this out, and it looks like he's going to get fired. Then he goes and does this. I wanted Texas to win, right? But, man, if I'm just being honest about it, the more I watch Arch play, the more, I just don't think he's it yet. He's not there yet, right? So, unfortunately, that doesn't make the Buckeyes Texas win as like strong as we would like it to be, but it's still a hell of a win for Julian Sam for his first game against Texas. They're a heck of a team. The rankings are all jacked up now. I mean, we got Scum as the 15th ranked team in the nation. And if you watch them play Wisconsin, at least to me, they are not the 15 ranked team. Wisconsin is not a good football team whatsoever. But anyway, big time recruiting. There was supposed to be big time defensive players showing up to this game. He did not make it. That's all I can say right now. Didn't make it, but he will be returning for the Buckeyes. But Kari Wilder was there. Kari Wilder are the number one defensive lineman in the 2026 class. If you've paid attention to what he's been doing this season in high school, he's making it very obvious that the dude is the number one defensive lineman and he's a Buckeye. And he got treated like such for this visit. Ryan Day took 5 to 10 minutes out of his time to go over and speak to him on a game day. That should tell you everything you need to know. Kamari Bing, the safety, the Maryland commit safety, was there as well. He had a lot of good things to say about Ohio State. One of these, I watched his film, but if I'm being honest with you, this is one of these situations when I watch his film, nothing jumps out to me like this is the best free safety in the class, but I just trust Matt Guerrieri with what he's been doing with this team. If he thinks this is going to be a good addition to this class, then I absolutely trust him. Kamari called the atmosphere at the game just an unreal atmosphere. So 105,000 fans in that, the Horseshoe Stadium. It really pops out to recruits when you go around the rest of the nation and you go on all these other visits, and then you come here and you see the passion of the fans and all that stuff. It's hard to top a Buckeye game in the Horseshoe. But we heard about 2 surprise visitors coming. And everybody wanted to guess who they were. One of them, Micah Champ-Smith. The Buckeyes were in on him, offensive lineman out of Florida. Beginning of the rankings, he was a top offensive lineman. Since then, he's kind of fell down the rankings, but I love the way he plays football. He's committed to UCLA. Obviously, what's been going on with UCLA, he showed up, right, to this game. But what I'm hearing is, probably going to sign elsewhere, right? He signed at UCLA because they offered him the biggest bag. So we'll wait and see what other schools have to offer. But the Buckeyes, I'm not worried about our offensive line class. I spoke with Aaron Thomas a little bit this weekend. He did come down to Florida State and visit. That's what his dad's from here. They do it every single year. He had some family matters to take care of as well. So speaking with him directly, right? And we know that, every recruit has their own situation, their own things, and not every recruit's going to tell me everything. But speaking with him and his family, he's a Buckeye. And people were jumping the gun quite a bit on just assuming that he's going to flip because he went to Florida State this weekend. He made it very apparent why he was going to Florida State. His dad's an alumni there. It's one of the biggest games. And, you got some people saying he's going to flip. That's not where his mind is right now. I'm not saying he's not going to with recruiting. Baby girl, you can't talk in the mic, okay? I'm not saying he's not going to flip with recruiting anymore. You never know. I mean, I've taken some hits, in this recruiting prediction thing and talking about who's going to visit where, and I get told something and I report what I get told, and that changes. So you never know anymore, but I still like where we stand with Aaron Thomas. But the other surprise one, Amari Latimer, a 6', 200-pound running back out of Georgia. He's ranked the number 23 running back according to Rivals, number 247 nationally. Showed up the Buckeyes, right? I didn't see any quotes from him, but the fact that he's showing up and Coach Locke is interested in him, I always assumed that we were going after one running back this class because of David Gabriel Georges in the next class. He's really man, he's really the only running back I'm focused on at this point in time. Talk about him reclassifying. Don't know if that's going to happen or not, but man, if you have not went and watched David Gabriel George's highlight video from what he's been doing this year, you need to go watch him. He is an instant impact type of freshman, kind of like Jalen Brewster would have been, the defensive lineman out of Texas. Everybody was talking about how the Buckeyes had a chance there, all that. I never bought into that. He signed with Texas Tech. Texas Tech is just offering so much money to some of these players that I'm not sure I would say no to it. It's life-changing money immediately. So they're changing the game, but there is some news on the CSC front with all these nil rules and all that. They have put out new guidelines for that that will stop teams like Texas Tech from being able to do what they're doing. I'm not going to get into the details and bore everybody with that right now because we're in season, but they have made a step forward in making these rules that stop people from being able to use collectives the way that they are. Now, how are they going to enforce that? When are they going to enforce that? What are the penalties? Are they going to enforce it? I have no idea. I have no idea anymore. All I know is what I read and what other people are saying in this industry, but we'll wait and see. So, Jacob Curry, the linebacker, was also at the game. So we'll see what happens there. The ones I would keep an eye on, if I had to pick one of these players, the 4 players in the 26 class that showed up, Kamari Bang, Amari Latimer, Champ Smith, and Jacob Curry, if I were to put them in order on who's going to be a Buckeye, I got Kamari Bing as number 1, Amari Latimer, number 2, Jacob Curry, number 3, Micah Champ Smith, number 4. Don't think he's going to be a Buckeye at all. But we'll see. The Buckeyes are still doing some big-time work. They put an offer out recently to another 2026 in-state offensive lineman. Blanking on the name right now, but I'll do a recruiting video later and talk about that. But so there's the updates on recruiting. They had all kind of 2027 recruits there. A lot of current 2026 commits there. Kari Wilder getting there was huge. That was huge because he's going to be an instant impact type of freshman when he gets here. We just got to keep him in this class. And the Buckeyes are doing everything they need to do that. Okay. Back to it, right? I'm sure you guys have read and you have heard the news that CJ Hicks and Malik Hartford are going to be redshirting. Okay. So they've agreed to it. It's the plan they've come up with. You know, I was wondering what they were going to do there because, especially with Malik Hartford, I expected him to be getting way more playing time. So I don't exactly know what happened there with that. But it is good news to hear that he's putting a plan in place to return next year, right? Caleb Downs won't be here, so we'll need some help in the safety position. His experience, he's a good player, right? He was neck and neck with Jalen McClain. Jalen McClain has just stepped up and not given him even a slight opportunity to take his spot back. Jalen McClain is playing that good right now. But Malik Hartford going to redshirt and hopefully sticks around. I mean, that's the plan right now. The plan he's talking with the coaches is, yes, he wants to do this because he wants to stick around and contribute to this team next year. CJ Hicks, another one, going to do a red shirt, right? Switch to the defensive end position. So, right, this was his first year in that position. So I don't know if you guys expected him to come out and make a huge impact being his first time. He's not Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles was playing a lot at safety already. He was a starter already. Switched to linebackers. He was already ingrained in a starting role, and he switched to the linebacker position, a position of need. We needed him there. We're pretty set on defensive end this year. Went in the portal, got Logan George, Bo Atkinson, and then you bring Matt Patricia. With what Matt Patricia is doing with these fronts right now, we have all the players that we need. I mean, Arvell Reese is lining up as defensive end sometimes. You got Caden Curry, Bo Atkinson, Kenyatta Jackson. Thankfully, his injury is not bad, but they kept him out just wanted to be careful. Didn't need him in the game, but he's playing, at a high level right now. Kenyatta Jackson is. He was having a very good game. He got injured on almost sack on the quarterback. So we got a lot of defensive ends. So, if CJ Hicks decides to stick around and keeps training and keeps doing this, and if we lose Arvell Reese, we're going to lose Sonny Styles. CJ Hicks can be utilized in that type of way. Matt Patricia's going to be here next year. That's my prediction anyway. So a player like CJ Hicks with his skills, if he's able to grasp the game of football, to sit back this year, and even though he's in a red shirt, but he still stays engaged and understand how Matt Patricia likes things done and pays attention to an Arvell Reese or Caden Curry and kind of what they're doing in their role, and he really gets that down, he's got the physical attributes to be a big-time contributor next year. He does. But we'll see if he sticks around. I saw somebody in the chat bring up Sam William Dixon. I don't know, man. I don't know there. Obviously, we saw Isaiah West get in some playing time. We saw CJ Peoples, Bo Jackson, and Isaiah West. And I wish we would see Isaiah West more, but we'll get into that here. We're gonna dive into this game here, but yeah. So that was interesting news. The plan for those two players, but I don't mind it as long as they come back next year. I want those two on this roster. I think they can contribute, especially in this scheme with what Matt Patricia is doing. It's special. So to get to that, the Buckeyes dominated the first series, right? Minnesota chose to take the ball. They're going down the field. They get to the red zone, get stonewalled, end up kicking a field goal, score those 3 points. The Buckeyes were in base defense that entire time and able to run down the field. But after that, the Buckeyes really shut it down, come out with the 42-3 victory. I predicted 38-0 victory. Over on the scoop board, Nevada actually drilled it. Dude got it exactly right. He predicted the score to be 42-3, and that's what it was. Patrick Green, I don't know if you heard my long rant I said there. I said, if CJ Hicks stays engaged and learns these positions. Yeah, I'm not Patrick. I'm a you got to show me with CJ Hicks at this point in time. That's where I'm at. He was not playing bad the snaps that he had this year. Whether you like it or not, he wasn't playing bad, but he's going to have to get better, stay more engaged, and get more physically ready to operate in this defensive end position. Craig, what was Kenyatta's injury? Just a stinger, right? Just a got bumped and hurt, rubbed it out. You saw him over there on the sidelines on the bike and everything, so he was doing good. But the Buckeyes come away with a 42-3 victory with Minnesota. Defense absolutely dominated. The offense, Julian saying, kind of shut some people up because all we heard after the Washington game is, oh, we didn't throw the ball down the field. Oh, they're probably doing that because they can't. Julian saying can't throw the ball down the field. Where are the explosive plays? Well, I think we saw that this game. Carnell Tate, 183 yards on 9 receptions, 1 touchdown. Julian Sam, 326 yards, was 23 for 27 with 3 touchdowns. Bo Jackson, 63 yards on 13 carries. Let's see where J.J. Smith was here. Dang, I knew I should have. I tried this new stat place, and I don't like it. Jeremiah Smith, 7 receptions for 67 yards. Max Clare showed up with 5 receptions for 63 yards. That's awesome to see. That's the 9th time in his career that he's had 5 receptions. He did it 8 times at Purdue previously, so it's really nice to see him get involved in this game plan and have those 5 receptions. Quincy Porter had a reception for 15 yards as well. Sonny Styles led the way with 4 tackles on the game. Iggy also had 4 tackles. Peyton Pierce, 2 tackles. Arvell Reese had the only sack on the game, I do believe. So the Buckeyes did what they needed to do to absolutely dominate this game. Never was really worried. But offensive, let's talk about Julian Sayin. Julian Sayin, every single game is getting better and better, right? And you heard what Ryan Day said in his press conference afterwards. He said they're very careful. They're very methodical about how they bring their quarterbacks along. And whatever that process is, whatever he wants to do, he's earned our trust with quarterbacks. CJ Stroud, Will Howard, and now Julian Sayin with what they're doing. I mean, he knows what he's doing with them. And Julian Sayin had several good plays, several amazing throws this game. I know my favorite throw that he made was when he stood in the pocket, threw it down the middle seam to Max Clare and got smacked in the face directly afterwards. He seems to be going through his reads a lot better. The offensive line giving him time. He made some plays with his feet, extended the play with his feet, found some receivers, found Carnell Tate on the sideline. Carnell Tate made an absolutely beautiful catch. The second game in a row that he's done that by keeping his feet in bounds and making those catches. It's absolutely amazing. Sage, I love this, bringing up these stats. 101 out of 126, 1,313 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Yeah. And remember those interceptions, right? Like, only one of those interceptions was him, like, I don't know, like making a bad read and a bad throw. I mean, the other 2 were bad decisions, but if you guys watched them, you know what I'm trying to say when I'm saying that. Julian Sayin is extremely impressive with what he's doing and his growth that he has in these games. And I'm loving in the Washington game. I loved watching him utilize his legs, and then him doing it this game. I love it. He can do it. The other thing that, dude, I was so stoked to see this game was the quarterback sneak, right? Will Howard last year made a lot of sense to do that, okay? Bigger quarterback. It's a guaranteed yard to 2 yards every time, even though I think we averaged 3 yards right per QB sneak last year. But I think the key to that QB sneak is Carson Hinsman in the interior of this offensive line with Luke Montgomery and Tegra Shabola in there as well. I mean, every time we did the quarterback sneak this game, it worked very easily. And we're talking about the number 10 defense in the nation. Minnesota was very stout against the run. Like, that is what their defense thrived on, stopping the rushing attack, being big up front. So us being able to do that in those short yardage situations was amazing because, dude, I can't stand that, man. When you see, like, on 3rd and 1 and you see him in the I formation, hand it off to CJ, and he barely gets those first downs, it just makes me so mad. I was screaming all day yesterday. Freaking sneak the quarterback, dude. Sneak Julian Sayin. It's guaranteed. We're going to get it. This offensive line is mean. They're nasty. They're playing with an edge. Phillip Daniels. Tegra looked better this game. Carson Hinsman is going to be the Remington Award winner. He's killing it. Luke Montgomery is absolutely killing it at the left guard position. And Austin Searveld was putting people on their backs in this game. He was playing nasty, man. I loved watching it. So, love it. Love the composure out of Julian Sayin. Love him going through all his progressions. Love the deep balls, right? There are a couple throws just a little bit short, right? But you're getting awful nitpicky there. He puts air under the ball, gives our receivers time to adjust and make the catch, because let's be honest, right? When Ryan Day made the statement after the game, which I love, did you guys check out Ryan Day's confidence in the press conference after the game? I've never heard him be so open and lighthearted and joking in a press conference. I haven't. Talking about Lincoln Keenholz and making a Dumb and Dumber reference to the movie because he absolutely redeemed himself, and talking about Jeremiah Smith being the best offensive player in the country, and it's not even close. And if somebody says it is close, I'd like to see who it is. That's what Ryan Day said, okay? In my mind, you know what I was thinking? Well, Carnell Tate might be close. That's what I was thinking. Carnell Tate might be close because his ability to do what he does is absolutely elite, minus his tripping over his own feet, not getting the third down. Minus that one. The old turf monster got a couple of our players, which I'm not going to get into the turf at this stadium, but you saw Lincoln Keenholz. He tripped and fell. Carnell Tate tripped and fell. But yeah, Lucia Tate is very sneaky good. And they play so well together. I mean, JJ, combined, they're like over 60% of our receiving yards and our touchdowns between JJ and Carnell. I want to ask you guys, is JJ and Carnell the number one wide receiver duo to ever come out of Ohio State? That's the question that I wanted to ask you guys, because with JJ Smith being as good as he is, you see, I think it was on the touchdown pass to Carnell. Carnell Tate had, I think, 3 receiving plays over 40 yards. One of those was a touchdown. Well, on that one, you see JJ go in motion, the sweep motion behind the quarterback, and you watch every defender for Minnesota go that way because they think he's getting the ball. That's how much they are paying attention to Jeremiah Smith. Now, what does that do? It leaves Carnell Tate one-on-one. And just like you cannot guard Jeremiah Smith one-on-one, you cannot guard Carnell Tate one-on-one either. But as of now, obviously, we got a whole other season we got the rest of the season to play to see how JJ and Carnell Tate end up working out together. But if you project what they're doing right now, they're going to get my number one wide receiver duo to ever come out of Ohio State. But it's close. And the fact that it's close should tell you everything you need to know about the wide receivers here at Ohio State. Patrick Green says, I've been watching Buckeye football for 57 years. JJ and Tate are the best duo ever. Yeah, that's where I'm getting Taco. Yeah, I know, bro. He pulled 5 defenders. I know. It's like, man, when you're on those 2nd and 3 and 4 or 3rd and 4, like, throw it to JJ. Do his little comeback routes. You can't stop him. He is so good at hand catching the ball. His hands are so strong, and he's such a big body that there's a corner is not going to get to him because they have to respect the go ball so much with him because of his size and his speed. They have to respect that. So therefore, that's what they're going to play. They'd rather give up the first down than a touchdown. I think that's open every single time. And when we saw it happen several times, we saw it last year a lot. Critical 3rd down situations, who they threw to Jeremiah Smith. So this receiving core at Ohio State with Julian saying at the helm, throwing the football, it's scary. Because I'll tell you this too, Brandon Ennis was open a lot. I rewatched the game already. I haven't seen the All-22 film yet, but I'm going to dive into that. But just from that second watch, Brandon Ennis gets open a lot. He just doesn't get the ball a lot because your first and second reads are JJ and Carnell, and then your third read, if you ask me, is Max Clare. So your fourth read is going to be Ennis. But here's the thing. Your fourth read is going to be who. If you want Ennis replaced, that's who the fourth read's still going to be. The fourth read will still be Mylan Graham. The fourth read will still be Quincy Porter. The fourth read will still be Bryson Rogers. So in my opinion, I love what Brandon Ennis does. He's open a lot. If they needed to get him the ball, if they ran a coverage and Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith are covered on all these plays and Max Clare, Brandon Ennis is going to be open. If somehow they get J.J. Carnell and Max Clare covered, I promise you Brandon Ennis is going to be open. So I love what he's doing. The special teams play, man, right? I love it. To do it against Minnesota, I mean, somebody asked Ryan Day that in his press conference, like, hey, you've ever thought about not showing that and like using it when you need it? And his response is, well, every time I do that, we never end up running that play. So I figure, why not do it, right? But I love it. We needed something on special teams. With Ohio State, this Ohio State, look how good we are at every single position, right? Look how good our depth is. Now look at our special teams. Our special teams unit should be making a pretty big impact on every single game, if you ask me. I mean, when you got Aaron Scott on kickoff returns and Riley Pettijohn and all these, Mylan Graham and all these other speedsters, I feel like they can make something happen for sure. Speaking of special teams, fielding missed the 53-yarder, and I don't know if it's just the years that I've been watching in Ohio State. Still can't make a 50-yard field goal. Man, it just gets to me. It just gets under my skin so bad. Like, we are the Ohio State. And I'm not going to go in on Fielding, right? Because he played well in the playoffs last year, and hopefully he's getting better. But we did pick up that other kicker out of the portal who is very good at 50-yard field goals. I forget his name, forget his stats from last year, but I do remember reading that his percentage at 50 plus was way better than Jaden Fielding's was. So I almost expected, I predicted before the season that they would utilize this other kicker they picked up for the 50-yard field goals and Jaden Fielding for the closer ones. But no. But yeah, Montana, listen, I know. That's why I said I'm not going to go I'm just being honest with you guys as a fan. It aggravates me. But yes, he's only missed one. Hence, I'm not going to go hard on him and say, hey, we need a new kicker. I'm just telling you, it gets to me sometimes when we can't go out and drill this. 50-yard field goal, extremely hard. A lot of kickers make it a lot easier, but 50-yard field goals are not gimmies, so we'll see what he does with the rest of the season. Hopefully he can build that confidence up and get those things drilled because, I mean, if you're a Buckeye fan, you know how important it is to have a kicker that can drill 50-yard field goals. Are we there or not? Yeah. I mean, sometimes you want to, sometimes at this point in time, it's like, man, should you just go for it? If you want that field goal at that point in time, then just go for the dang thing. But anyway, so we got quarterback covered, wide receiver covered. Let's get to the running backs. Okay. Let's get this pulled up. All right. Bo Jackson, 13 carries for 63 yards, 4.8 yards per carry. I watched Bo Jackson be very good in pass protection as well, pick up a couple blitzes. That was good. I watched James Peoples pick up a couple good blitzes. But Bo Jackson, again, as always, he's just different. First dude never brings him down. He makes the first man miss, and if he doesn't, he always goes through the first man. His speed, his catch passing ability is good as well. CJ Donaldson, 3 carries for 3 yards. But you see this game where this is going. We've been talking about this. We knew it was going to happen. Bo Jackson is going to end up getting the majority of the carries. I still think James Peoples can be a good back. We saw it. He had 7 carries for 59 yards, averaging 8.4 yards per carry. Towards the end of the game, he had a lot of big runs. I think that's there, right? He made a mistake on one of the plays, went on the wrong side of Julian Sane, got taken out of the game. But the coaching staff they keep putting them in. They see the physical attributes and the ability that James Peoples has. So I still have faith that he can do it. But Bo Jackson is number one. And I'm very curious if we're going to see Isaiah West pick up more carries as the year goes on, because he came in, had one carry, got 5 yards, but man, did he just looked explosive. Like right when he took the ball, it was like he shot out of a cannon. And when you got legs that, expect that. But I always said that he was Isaiah West in that 25 running back class between Turbo, Isaiah, and Bo. He was the most physically ready running back in this class already. Like he just looked like a college running back already. So we'll see. Ryan Day's brought him up a couple times. So we saw him. They put him in the game. They gave him some runs. So we see that he is 4th on the depth chart at this time. I'm just curious as to, does Isaiah pass CJ? Does he pass James Peoples at some point in time? We'll see. We will see. Offensive line, tight ends, they keep doing their thing. Offensive line, I already went through them. They're dogs. Nitpicking time, right? I'm sure somebody in the chat's going to get upset at me for saying this, but I still want to see Ohio State be better in the run game. I want to see them be like Chip Kelly last year. I just feel like there was more diversity in the play calling. It wasn't always just hand the ball off and run up the middle. Okay. There was other plays, other, misdirections and things like that to utilize. And we're just stuck on this, hand it and run up the middle. And I understand that we got to get good at that. But, man, we keep talking about how good this offensive line is, and the rushing attack just doesn't, seem to be there for us. Minnesota, really good rushing defense. Like I told you, they were like 10th in the nation before, but we had 133 rushing yards in this game, 341 passing yards. We averaged 8.2 yards per play on this one, but hopefully we get a little more creative with the running game. Patrick Green, more counters and jet sweeps. Yeah, just a little more creative. And also, did you see what our second string offensive line did when they got in the game? Did y'all see what I saw? Because I saw domination. Now, I know it's end of the game. Probably not all starters in for Minnesota, but if Tegra's not getting the job done, it dumbfounds me how Ethan or Gabe Van Sickle or one of these other guys doesn't get the opportunity to step in and do it. Again, haven't watched the All-22, haven't dove into Tegra, but if that's part of the equation, why the run game doesn't get going like we want it to be, then give somebody else a shot. But anyway, chat, are we on the same page there? Do you guys feel like you want to see Ohio State get a little more creative and get a little better in the run game? Are you guys seeing the same thing I'm seeing? I'm just curious if I'm being a what do they call that? The lunatic fringe. Yeah. Am I going complete lunatic fringe on that one? I'm curious. But yeah. Offensive, explosive plays, got it done, scored 42 points. Julian Sands' ability, the coach's trust in him is growing more and more. So I love it, and it's giving me confidence, right, that we're going to be able to do that. I never did not have confidence. I knew that this was Ryan Day bringing Julian Sand along slowly, and Brian Hartline, first-time play caller, also kind of learning the team, learning how to play calls, call plays. So I'm seeing growth, right? And that's what we want out of this Buckeyes team. Ryan Day is good at that. Ryan Day is very, very good at adjustments. He's very good at seeing where this team needs to work on and gets over it. After the game, he made a really good point, and I love that he's so focused on this because he said, if you wait till you lose to focus on, right, where you fall short at, then you end up losing to an 0-4 UCLA team. Now, Ryan Day didn't say that, but that's what he should have said. That's what he meant to say. So he brought up, Bo Jackson reaching the ball out on second down. It ended up working out for him, but that's what creates fumbles. He said you can't do that. The Lincoln Keenholz going the wrong way on the QB sneak. He said those things can lose you games. Just because we won doesn't mean we don't focus on those things. I love that about Ryan Day. Keeps this team focused. That's why the dude is 49-1 against unranked teams. 49-1 against unranked teams. And Ryan Day now has a higher winning percentage than Newt Rockne. Let that sink in for a minute. As you guys said, Ryan Day, it didn't count because he ain't been coaching for 10 years. So he said he was done coaching after this game. So he can go down as the winningest coach in college football history. So, yeah, Steely, that's right. 75-10. Ryan Day is awesome. Dang. Emeka up to 163 yards now on 7 catches. Yeah, it's going to be Carnell Tate next year in the NFL. Yep, Expedition Greg got there faster than Jim Tressel. All right, we went over the offensive side of the ball. Now to talk about my favorite part of the ball, defense this year, the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to start off by saying this. I've said it 100 times, but it's so fascinating to me, right, that we were so worried about the depth at the defensive line. Like, that's all that was talked about, okay? And I knew Matt Patricia would help with that. I knew that these guys behind the starters, the Tywone Malones, the Will Smith Juniors, these other guys, I knew they would get better. This is Ohio State. They go up against the best offensive line in the country. They don't have a choice but to get better or they're not going to be on the team. But I didn't expect this. Tywone Malone and Will Smith Jr. are stepping up in a big way. Definitely Will Smith Jr. is big time stepping up. That dude is disruptive. K-Mac and Will Smith Jr. were in the game at the same time at one point in time. I love seeing that. I was curious if we were going to see that because Will Smith Jr. he's the number 2. He's the number 2, right? Because we expected it to be K-Mac, Edric Houston. Edric got injured, and I think that's what really set him back on his confidence and his development. I really do. I think that's a huge part of it. But either way, he wasn't producing like we expected him to do. So Tywone Malone replaces him, but Will Smith Jr. was always backing up K-Mac, so they never had the opportunity to get on there. But every time Will Smith Jr. got in, man, I just loved what he did. Beating his blocks all the time. He there's a couple times gets a little excited, gets out of his lane because he beats the dude so bad and goes after him instead of staying in his lane. Tinker tooted. That's bad, Tink. Come on, girl. Right in my face. Sorry, guys. Woo. Tell everybody what you just did. Tell them what you did. Why would you do that to me? Huh? Yeah, okay, I forgive you. Go back to sleep. Where was that? But yeah, so Will Smith Jr. stepped up big time. He looked really good in this game. K-Mac looked good. Caden Curry, dominant yet again. Bo Atkinson, dominant, playing very, very well. Tywone Malone as well. Tywone Malone's getting better and better every game. So I absolutely love it. Getting better every single game. So shout out Larry Johnson with what he's doing with this defensive line. And shout out Matt Patricia for the schemes, the different fronts that he's playing. I think this defense is, what would have given up 25 points in the first, 5 games? Yeah. 25 points in the first 5 games. 0. I repeat, 0 red zone touchdowns. Is that not wild? 0. Okay. So they've only given up 2 touchdowns on the year. Okay. So this defense is absolutely wild. All right, Tinker, get down. Go party. Go play with your toys. No, she's just going to sit here and stare at me and want me to pick her back up. No, you go play. You can go play. But yeah, linebackers. Peyton Pierce, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, they're just absolutely ridiculous. Sonny balled out this game. His communication, his making adjustments, and his knowledge of the game is at an elite level. Sniffing things out. Same with Caden Curry. Caden's Curry, his knowledge of the game is absolutely. This secondary, I want to ask you guys. Okay, so you watched the game. You saw the pass that Iggy covered, and the announcer said that was clear pass interference. Chat. Was that pass interference on Iggy? Should they have called that? I want to know. I want to know your guys' thoughts. Because that was close. That was close. But have you guys noticed something with Iggy? Have you guys seen? Yeah, Lucia, for sure. The pass was uncatchable, but if the ball would have been in, catchable, the announcers were just dead set. You heard them saying that was pass interference. And I'm looking at it like, man, Iggy has gotten so much better. They were hand fighting back and forth a little bit. He had a hold of him, but the receiver had a hold of him as well. But I tell you what, if you watch Iggy and his run defense, it's really cool watching him. Pay attention to him, dude. He gets in. I mean, he gets in it, dude. He was in the backfield a couple times, stopping the running back. Okay, so very good tackler, very good in run defense. And it was awesome to see. Back to the defensive line real fast. I wanted to talk about Edric. Edric seemed to have a little bit more juice this game. He seemed to, you saw him running after quarterbacks, getting loose a couple times. So that's a good sign, right? We love seeing that. We need Edric to step up. The coaching staff knows we're going to need him. And it seemed to me like he had a little bit more energy. But back to the Iggy thing. I love how Iggy's playing this year. Jermaine Matthews is an NFL corner all day long. Almost had that interception. He should have had the interception is what he should have had, but he didn't get it. But he's all over the place. Doesn't get his name called a lot, but that's what you want out of a corner. If the corner, Oregon game last year, whose name did we always hear? Denzel Burke, right? You're not hearing that, and you're not going to hear it this year. Our two corners are elite, okay? Caleb Downs doing Caleb Downs thing, still not giving up anything. Good pass coverage on the tight end on that throw, was all over him. Don't even know why the quarterback threw it. Tyler Lewis, good point. Yeah. There's been a couple times when Jermaine is on a blitz and I think he gets a little too far, reacts a little too quickly, needs to be a little more patient, a little more reading and reacting instead of just reacting and going full out at it. I agree with you on that one, Tyler. But Jalen McClain, still one of my favorite players on this team. I think his future is bright. I love the intensity he plays with. I love his communication. I love that after you see how close this team is because you got a sophomore in Jalen McClain going up to Caleb Downs after Caleb Downs had the penalty, the 15-yard penalty, which I would have done the same thing. Did you guys see the Minnesota player after the play was over dive on Caleb Downs trying to hurt him? That's how I perceive that. I perceive that as a very dirty play. Maybe I'm reading that wrong, but I was fired up and I'm like, good for you, Caleb. I would have kicked him too. And that was a bullcrap play on that long-haired Minnesota dude. I don't know why he did that. I don't know why they try to do that. Why are you trying to? I mean, why would you do that other than to decide to try to injure him? The whistle's blown, the player's on the ground. What other reason would you have for trying to like ram your head and shoulder like into him, right? You guys saw that. So was it the forearm, whatever it was? What other reasoning would you have to do that other than to try to injure him? Like, dude, you suck, bro. It's 42-3 or 35, whatever the score was at the time. Why are you doing that, bro? Get a life. Stop the crap, man. Like, I don't understand it. But the point is, Jalen McClain went up to him directly afterwards, had a conversation with him. So I love seeing that out of this team. They're very, very close. And I think that's what makes this defense so good. They work together as a team. They're disciplined. They communicate. They're close. This entire team, the culture. It all goes back to the culture that Ryan Day has created. But who I want to talk about, Lorenzo Styles. He's probably taken the most heat. Nah, Edric probably has, but Low Styles has taken some heat. Yeah, Patrick. Yeah, when they yes, I don't understand it, but Low Styles had a heck of a game. Played very, very well. Had that good punt return. Had a really good tackle. Was in the right place at the right time. Had a couple tackles for loss. So playing really well. This defense is playing at a high, high level to the point where PJ Fleck after the game says that is the best defense that I have seen in 13 years. Let me repeat that. He said, this is the best defense that I have seen in 13 years. And it was funny because I might have read this wrong, but the way that PJ Fleck was talking about Matt Patricia, it's like Matt Patricia was like a superstar, like a movie star he wanted to meet because he said, yeah, I got to meet him. I got to go over and meet Matt Patricia. It's like, oh, okay, dude. Like, yeah. So it's getting well known nationally what Matt Patricia is doing. So you best believe people are going to be trying to come after him, but Ryan Day knows that. So I think Ryan Day is going to keep him around because I think I know for a fact that Matt Patricia and his family, they're loving Columbus. They're loving the family atmosphere that Ryan Day has created at Ohio State. So that's a good thing. Definite upgrade over Jim Knowles, I would say. Right? Can we agree by now? Right? Poor Jim, man. I like Jimmy, or I did. Still had respect for him. He gave us a national title, but after watching what he's doing at Penn State, you got to ask yourself, how much did Ryan Day influence the defense after the Oregon game last year? How much? Because you're watching what's happening at Penn State, okay? And you just wonder, or what coach was it? Matt Guerrieri? Was it James Laurinaitis? Was it Coach Walt? Like, there's a lot of NFL experience, and somebody made some tweaks to the defense after the Oregon loss that completely changed things. And then you go and see the same things that we didn't like in Jim Knowles as a defensive coordinator happening at Penn State. And it happened before the UCLA game. Like, the same type of issues were happening. The mobile quarterback thing. Oh my goodness, dude. You know, that was not a strong suit for Jim Knowles. And we see what happened with UCLA. That's just still blowing my mind to even talk about. But either way, man, these Buckeyes are in a real good spot. I'm going to read this, see if I missed anything. Just to remind people, this Buckeyes defense, guess the percentage that opponents get third downs on this Buckeyes defense. I'm going to tell it to you in just a minute. Sorry. 11%. 4 for 36. Tyler's got 4 for 37. Where I saw it's 4 for 36. Either way, teams have completed 4 third downs on this defense. That's absolutely ridiculous. So again, you know, got that one right, like many people did. Me and Mello said preseason that we were what we kept hearing from these players and from inside the Woody with how much fun they were having, how much they were learning, how good of a teacher Matt Patricia is because you know you can have all these schemes, okay? So other teams can go try to implement these schemes, but football is a player's game. So just because you have the best schemes, if you don't teach your players the discipline and the way to utilize those schemes, it's going to do you no good, right? So shout out to these players and shout out to Matt Patricia for being able to teach these players. We've heard from several, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, and every one of these defensive players just talks about how good of a teacher and how close they are to Matt Patricia. Look at the difference. Look at the difference in the way these players talk about Matt Patricia versus how they talked about Jim Knowles. Look at the difference as how these players interact with Matt Patricia versus Jim Knowles. Caleb Downs and Matt Patricia were doing some little dance after the game together. Like little things like that are a little insight on how this defense is building the defense that they are. It's that connection that they have. It's Matt Patricia's ability to change thing up. The dude's a genius. The way he teaches, the way he changed the catapult system in there, the organization. Like we just keep hearing it over and over again, what Matt Patricia's doing with this defense. So, hey, I said last year, 2024, 2025 Natty Lock. We got the 24 Natty. And I'm going to be honest, dude, we look like the number one team in the nation right now. That doesn't matter because what matters is what we do in the playoffs. And Exhibition Greg, I think we've given up 25 points in 5 games. That's averaging 5 points through 5 games, if I'm right there. But yeah, I mean, Miami does look good, but they haven't looked like Ohio State. Okay. So, I mean, the same people that are trying not to give Ohio State the number one title right now, which again is irrelevant. It's about the playoffs. How good are you going to be in the playoffs? Those same people that are saying Miami or Oregon are number one are the same people that put Texas and Penn State number 1 and 2. So let that sink in. You can go look at the AP poll voters. The same people that are voting Miami and Oregon as number 1 are the same people that voted Texas and Penn State number 1. Just whatever they have to do to not give Ohio State number 1, which I could care less where you put us. We're going to be in the playoffs, and we'll see which coach and which team is prepared for these playoffs. And with what Ryan Day is doing with his attention to snap counts and attention to not making these starters even in practice get very many snaps, and the way that they're handling their game plans we're like 120th in the nation in plays. Okay. So we've ran way less plays than most of the nation. So we will see who's better prepared. And Ryan Day has a big time advantage. Okay. He's got a big time advantage. He did it last year and he did it successfully. So when you're working off of a successful plan already, right, it's only going to go one way. It's going to go up because you know the foundation that was Mick, Body by Mick, Ryan Day, whatever they did last year worked. So it's a successful plan. So now they only get to make that plan better. No other coach in the nation can say that. No other coach had a successful plan. So they're starting at failure already. They're already starting lower than Ryan Day was. And if you've caught on, Ryan Day's demeanor this year, just go watch after the game press conference and you'll see he's just a little bit different. But let's get to these super chats. We can get out of here. I'm sure Nevada and BMOs have started already. Rob, thank you so much for the $2. Why isn't Sam Dixon playing better than number 20? That's a good question. I wish I had some insight there. I don't. There's a lot of running backs in this room, and at this point in time, with the way I think I like what they're doing with James Peoples. I think they need to keep giving him run just because I know his speed, I know his physical agility, I know the potential that he has, and he's a sophomore, man. He didn't play last year, so you know, Bo is way better than him, but Bo is also way better than most of the backs in the nation. He's just got it. Some backs just got it. That's rare. Okay. So James Peoples going to have to work out a little bit, right? We've seen that at Ohio State. We've seen backs that, have grown throughout their career, and by their senior year, they were dominant and better. That's what James Peoples is going to be, I believe. But it's CJ Donaldson that I could see Isaiah West or Sam's Wayne Dixon, but we'll see. I like the coaching staff playing and giving these young guys the opportunity. Zion Ziggy Grady was in the game in the second quarter. Jarquez Carter was in the game in the second quarter. So we're seeing this coaching staff play depth faster this year than we ever have. And that was one of the main things. That's been one of my main complaints about Ryan Day. Get these guys snaps. Ziggy Grady looked awesome. I love the way he looked when he was out there. So we'll see. We'll see by the end of the year, Rob, if he does get some playing time. Lisa, thank you so much for the $4.99. Had some thoughts about Texas. Can't control other perceptions, but we control our destiny. Just need to keep winning. Go Bucks. Amen, Lisa, for sure. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Ryan Day said it. It doesn't matter who we're playing. We can only control us. Ryan Day is right there with you, Lisa. Thanks, Lisa, again for the $1.99. No sneaks for Julian. Could get hurt. Yeah. I feel you. I know some people are going to have that take, but I think definitely in moments that we need the 1 or 2 yards, I think it's a gimme every time to sneak Julian with this offensive line we have. Mike Green, thanks for the $1.99. What the heck is wrong with Tigra? He is the worst. He's the worst offensive line starter for sure. I haven't went back and watched the All-22 film to see this game in particular, but he is the most inconsistent offensive lineman that we have. But you got to trust the coaches. That's what we have to do. We don't have an option at this point. Trust the coaches, trust the process, trust Coach Bowen. So far, he's been doing an amazing job. It was his decision to move Austin Searville to the left tackle. Remember that. It was Coach Bowen's decision to do that. He's the one that did that. And if you also noticed, our backup right tackle was Justice Terry, transferred from West Virginia. Coach Bowen's decision as well to go in the portal and get him and put him at right tackle. So I like what Coach Bowen's doing, and just going to have to trust the coaching staff. I want to give Ethan Onianwa a chance at right guard, but I'm not the coach. Ryan Day's the natty, the winningest coach in college football, so just going to have to trust him. But, hey, appreciate the heck out of you for joining the show. Nevada and BMOs are on right now. Go check them out. Please don't forget to hit that like button. Go over to the Buckeye Boys channel, Buckeye Boys with the Z. Subscribe to that channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button as well. Join the Scoop message board. We appreciate y'all's support. All the proceeds from the Buckeye Boys channel, the super chats, go to help people in need. And all the money raised through advertising, whatever else YouTube pays, it goes into a pot for ticket giveaways. The Natural was the winner, went to the Washington game. Hopefully we can build up a big enough pot to give away a playoff ticket this year. Got to go support that channel if you want that opportunity. But thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH. IO.